Here we have a dance performance by the Mando. And
Check
I
test-
request one of
testing
the
one.
members to
Check
please
test
introduce
1,
themselves.
2.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are showing you a performance of Mando, though it's given as Mando dance performance. Mando is normally sung and danced. For functions, we are showing the traditional way. Two couples were supposed to dance, but unfortunately, the lady of one of the couples, she's not well. And just this morning they informed, and it becomes difficult to arrange someone to dance the Mando at the last minute, as it should be. So, like traditionally how it was held, what is the costume? And Mando used to be sung in their own homes for private parties, for the functions as it started. Now Mando has come on the stage. Somehow the essence of how it is to be danced and how it is to be sung has not been followed as per tradition. Many of the groups, they just perform and they show. And the dance performance sometimes goes very close to a waltz or something like that, though Mando has got its own steps. It originated with the Western culture that we had in the past. It originated from Minuet and Quatre dance. It's a combination of that, but a little distinct from how a waltz is danced. The Mando signature is written on a scale of 6/4. And the predominant beat is always the fifth beat. It has 6 beats, but the fifth beat on the gumot, the earthen instrument that will be played on the gumot that keeps the beat. It's the soul of a Mando when it is sung and danced. So when my good friend Mr. Ibon Souza has asked me to bring a group, I don't have a group of my own, but I do dance for a group of Mr. Purvis Gomes, Mando Mogi. But today we have come as a group. It's a working day, and there is nothing like a professional Mando group. They are all doing it for the love of Mando. There's not a professional Mando group. If you want somebody to invite them for your wedding and make them dance, I have not come across so far. It is spontaneous. If there's a Mando for a traditional wedding that they would like to show a Mando performance, it's sung by the bride and the group. And from the gathering, the uncles, aunties, and especially of the older generation, they'll come and they'll just impromptu dancing. They'll start dancing the Mando. So here we are showing a performance of Mando with traditional costumes and the way it should be played, sung, and danced. Thank you.
तू कसले दिसू काचरे आमी सुस्तीला गोनू कसले बाय कसला ताऊ माजुरियाचं कुडाताऊ कसले दिसू काचरे आमी सुस्तीला गोनू मदर मुडोर मुडो आमी देवा तुका Samka merona, koi nam gelya marga jala pulso dorona, hardly poor garat road maga sorona, karmota ke magru jala sagor merona, atle che gelya teri samka merona, merona, gelya marga jala pulso dorona, garat road maga sorona, che magru jala sagor merona, kai bole amche koi ware ware wa kai bole go asotare daite gyunka kai bole amche koi ware ware wa kai bole go asotare daite gyunka urme nauya manona tuya urme naunka manona tuya urme nauya manona tuya urme naunka manona tuya tuya tuya
Hello, yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all have enjoyed the Mando singing and the dancing. Now, Mando is always followed by Dulpod. What we dance fast, it's written on the scale of 6/8, is a Dulpod. For that, it's only where Mando is a love song, and it's always slow. So you just dance by just looking at each other, going forward, backward. There is nothing what you know as passé and repassé, that's in French, and you have to cross each other. The crossing starts only with Dulpods, because Dulpods is a folk song. Dulpod was born much before the Mando. The Mando is around 1830 or so. Many of the scholars, they say, Mando started around 1830 with all the influences of the church choirs, where most of what we call in Konkani mestris, the choir masters, it's they who had something distinct for Goa. Just like Goa had theatre and Goa had kantara, and also Mando, Dekni, and Dulpod, especially a Dekni that the Christians dance. The Catholic is the Christian Dekni. So what we danced later on, after the Mando performance, the two stanzas were over, was a Dulpod, which is normally a folk song. And there, the steps are mostly go with the beat of how they sing and how it. Sometimes, if the Dulpod is softer, you dance slowly. If it is faster, it starts slow and then goes on becoming fast and fast and fast till it comes to an end. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Yeah.
Goa has taken successful steps. Steps in what? Towards economic empowerment. It is fast emerging as a strong industry. Our next speaker, Mr. Blaise Kostabir, young entrepreneur, will enlighten us on the topic Goa business opportunities. Mr. Blaise Kostabir has done his MBA and Master Diploma in Business Administration. He is the founder, partner, and managing director of GMI, Zaharak Molders Private Limited. He is a multifaceted top management professional with over 20 years of experience. In course of his illustrious career, he has won numerous business excellence awards, such as Businessman of the Year and Manager of the Year. He has been profiled in many top-rated business magazines, Industry Business India and Business Goa. He has also established a name for himself as an industry leader, having held key position in the Industry Association, and he has been invited by Government of Goa to be on various committees. I request Ms. Karishma Vilwaikar to please present a bouquet of flowers to Mr. Blaise Kashtubir.
Around 18 years ago, like most of you now, I decided to come down to Goa and get into business. Actually, today I wish I was 25 years younger because it's very exciting to be young and in India today. I came down, but I didn't have the backing of being introduced, of being taken around, or being introduced to Goa again. I lived all my life in Bombay and other places, and came down here and set up this business of mine, all from scratch. Good evening, my young friends. I have no regrets having done that 18 years ago, and I'm sure if any of you decide to come down to India, and more specifically to Goa, I'm sure you will have no regrets. Of course, it's not going to be easy. I just thought that, the topic is what are the opportunities here? Well, if there were opportunities, be sure as a businessman I would want to take them myself. So I can't tell you what the opportunities are, but I'll tell you what you would need to be able to take those opportunities. So maybe when you go back to wherever you are and you practice on them, you would be able to prepare yourself to actually get into business or even to be employed. Either way, you would be okay. So what I plan to do is what is needed and what you can do. And I belong to this category of entrepreneurs who are not born. I was an employee most of my working. I'm actually now I'm equal working and the number of years I spent on my own, it's almost equal. These are the three requirements I believe you must have if you want to take advantage of any business opportunity. Okay? You should have a risk-taking, belief, and focus. So when I say risk-taking, I'm not talking about walking into a casino and playing blackjack or playing, that's not the risk-taking I'm talking about. But if you notice among your friends, we are crossing the road, there will be some of you who will dart across the road while the other might be waiting till it is more clear. Now that will tell you the risk profile between the two of them. Now risk-taking is inherent. You can't teach a person to be a risk-taker. It's either he's a risk-taker or he's not. But what you can teach is decision-making. And I think that these are the things you should be doing now, decision-making. So you want to get into it, start thinking. What is the decision? You go to a restaurant and you say, what will you have to eat? Anything. That's not a decision. So you say, I will have masala dosa. You take a decision. Or should we go to the cinema? How do we go? Catch a cab or take a bus. That's a decision. So you start getting into this mode where you decide, and then you'll figure out that this was a wrong decision or the right decision, and next time you'll realize that, okay, the next time I won't take a cab because it's traffic time and there's jam, so I'll take the train and get ahead. So you will correct your decision and in that way be this. Now, I thought I don't think I'm addressing only kids from outside, but the education system out there and here is a little different. It's my opinion. Out here we are more book-oriented, vomit whatever we have kind of swallowed, and that's the way the system works. While outside, you're more choices you can make, you don't have to, you can do assignments differently. So you actually you're being pushed to think, while here it's, but at the end of the day, when you come into business, you're equal. But that will give you an advantage. And that is really helpful. So the system helps you. Here, the system is not really that conducive, but things are changing. So I said no mugging, you have choices of assignments, while here it's all like that, but some of the places they're changing it. Yeah. Next. The belief. Now, whatever you do, the first thing you got to do is believe in yourself. You see, when I was thinking of starting, I went to a very good dentist. He's a relative of mine. And I was sitting on his chair, and he asked me, what do you plan to do? So I said, well, I'm thinking of getting into rotational molding, and I'm going to make water tanks. His first reaction was, there are hundreds of guys making water tanks. You know? Now, it's easy to laugh right now, but when you're about to start and you hear a comment like that, it's not really a moral booster. But I thought to myself, well, there are hundreds of dentists, and you are counted among the best. So 18 years later, I can tell him our products are counted among the best. But if you don't believe in yourself, there's very little chance that anyone else is going to believe in you. Absolutely no chance. So you have to develop that thing that I can do it, you know. And sometimes the reason why you do it is because you are thinking differently. The first guy who went to start a courier service was considered crazy. I mean, who would want to mail a packet from here to there when there's a postal service? Today, you don't think of the post, you can only think of courier. But that guy thought about it. In your idea, whatever you do, that idea must be yours. A lot of times, you might decide to start a business because my uncle is in that position and he can give me a contract and therefore I can get it. It happens a lot here in Goa. Because my uncle is a chief minister, I get one contract. 6 months later, the chief minister has changed, contract has changed. I mean, this is what happens here. But, you know, it's jokes aside, but think of what you want to do. Now, when you're thinking what you want to do, basically you've got to fill some kind of need. Gone are the days where we used to buy a Premier Padmani. I don't think any of you know what a Premier Padmani is. Do you know what a Premier Padmani is, anybody? It's a car, yeah, but you don't see them anymore. You know, I think you still see them in Bombay as taxis, but you don't want to go in them. Now, that was an era where you had people standing in line for 10 years to buy a product. And when you gave it to them, if it had no brake, the poor guy had to take it and get it fitted outside. Because otherwise he'd get back in the line for 10 years. Today, the customer is absolutely, what do you say, hard. He has no feelings for anything. He just